It's 2004. You're going to Fallujah. You have no idea what you're in for. Probably the most well-known battle throughout the entire war. The bloodiest.
The night prior, my platoon commander comes in and he's like, everyone's gonna write their death letter.
Jesus Christ.
I sat in on the invasion briefings and all that. Yeah, I met General Mattis, who was a legend then, let alone later.
Pew, 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 hitting the wall, so I'm like ducking. I'm like, shit.
It was so bad, tanks had to, Abrams had to come get them out. I mean, it was that intense.
The terrible scenes of them being dragged through the streets and hung from the bridge.
You're gonna fuck around and find out. The world is not gumdrops and lollipops. Like, the world is very dangerous out there.
I did my first deployment there.
Where was that to?
Fallujah, 2004.
Fallujah.
Yeah, Fallujah, 2004. I mean, that shit was like World War II. Like, it's not comparable to...
Did you know you were going to Fallujah?
Yeah.
Early on?
Maybe a month before we went on. I don't know exactly. No, maybe it was like only 2 weeks.
What was happening in theater at that time? Had we taken Fallujah yet?
No, so at that time, this is, I forget the month, but relatively early 2004. This is, this is like maybe 2 or 3 months after the Blackwater incident.
Well, those missions started to quickly shut down. That's around the whole time the Blackwater thing happened. A lot of people are dying.
The Blackwater incident that you're talking about for the audience is when they
were
hit the
ambushed.
Contractors. They pulled them out of the vehicle
And hung
they
them off
stripped
the-
them down, burned them,
Yep.
and hung them upside down naked from a bridge.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, that was maybe 3 months prior, but around that time.
March 31st, 2004. So that's about 8-9 months after the U.S. originally invades Iraq. And I'd actually been to that area just 3 weeks before it happened. And we had 4 guys that were just escorting some trucks to go move some food equipment. That's all it was. It was nothing more elaborate or exotic than that. And they had met with the supposed to be the reliable, trusted Iraqis to give them guidance about where to go. And, these are, remember, the areas of Fallujah and Ramadi had heavy fighting after that because they'd never really been pacified. They'd never really been cleaned out, right? The maneuver warfare, lightning approach of the U.S. invasion in 2003 bypassed many of those spots of hot resistance. And Fallujah and Ramadi were where a lot of, it was effectively an Iraqi Republican Guard retirement area, right? So there was a real hotbed of people that were not happy. And the guys were basically led into an ambush, and they were shot up immediately, and their bodies desecrated, the terrible scenes of them being dragged through the streets and hung from the bridge. That was all done for the propaganda effect to try to terrorize the U.S. presence in the country. And I'll never forget it. Like I said, I'd been there. I knew some of those guys. Like, I'd been with Zovko every day for 10 days prior to that happening. And I actually went, and because I knew him, I immediately flew to do the notification for his family in Cleveland, Ohio that night. And Gary went and took care of one of the SEAL that was lost, and one of our aviators went and took care of Mike Teague, and so it was personal for all of us. I never lost anyone under my command or authority when I was in the SEAL teams, and this was the first for us as a company. And it was early in the Iraq days, went from quite peaceful after the initial shock to the insurgency kind of exploded. March 31, those guys are ambushed in Fallujah. 3 days later, our guys are ambushed on the road between Baghdad, and the airport. And at least 2 or 3 of our guys are killed.
What were you guys doing?
So we were there to essentially develop targets and assist. So we ended up assisting the Marine Corps several times. There's a couple times Marine units got in trouble, and just one as an example was they were taking fire and they couldn't get the building anyways, and we had a SOFLAM, so we ended up going there and calling in CAS. But yeah, I mean, you're calling CAS in the city, like freaking F-18s dropping bomb. I mean, it was like, Kuwait in the during like Nam. Like, I mean, put it this way, I'm sure like you couldn't have Mark 19s in Baghdad. In Fallujah, like dudes would be dumping entire belts or entire cans of Mark 19 rounds. I mean, if you saw someone, you could shoot them.
Mark 19, for those that don't know, is a grenade launcher.
An automatic grenade launcher.
Automatic grenade launcher. A can of what? 50 Mike might is what? 50 rounds? 50 grenades?
I think it's 32. I can't remember.
32.
There's 2 sizes of cans. I forget the larger one. But yeah, the rules of engagement, if you saw someone, you could shoot them. Like, solve them. I mean, just, it was like, I mean, at night, Spectre was cleared hot, and we'd watch it, and it would just circle and just hammer like all night long.
Wow.
And then it would go off station when it was Winchester, another one would come on, and just freaking keep up all night.
We're calling in airstrikes on a nightly basis to the point where our whole house, Spooky was really big back in the day, Spooky, the C-130 gunship, our house was yawing. So much danger close fucking fire missions happening, 105s, 40 Mike, fucking you name it, it was happening. If it could come out of the sky and out of a plane and kill shit, it was coming.
You couldn't go in. I mean, that wasn't possible. So everything was done around the outside, because like one Marine unit pushed in, I think like 100 yards, and it was so bad. Tanks had to, Abrams had to come get them out. I mean, it was that intense.
I know who that was. He was in here for an interview.
Which one?
His name's Cody Alford.
Next thing you know, I find myself in a gunfight. And I'm on the left side of this window, and I'm engaging these 2 dudes with guns. They're shooting at us. And then we're just getting fucked up with machine gun fire. Like, it's just spraying down, like to the point where like we're not even engaging the window anymore. We're just gonna eat it. So we're backed off in the window, waiting to hear gaps and lulls in the fire so we can pop back out and engage. And how we started doing it was the radio operator, he would go shoot, and when he would go dry, that's when I would come in. We were playing that whole tag you're it game. Meanwhile, the 2 snipers in my team, they're in the prone position on the ground, because when we're not actively engaging, very accurate sporadic fire is coming through our window, and it's like literally just like mowing on top of us. So if you stick your head up, you're done. And these guys are just like, oh shit, did you guys get them? Like they're kind of like laughing. They're like, fuck, they've been here, done that. They've been to the invasion of Iraq. They were in one of them was in Somalia, but it was real. It was a real deal. It was really happening, and we were not participating. We were it. And I remember going back behind the window. I reload another magazine, and as soon as I pop out to shoot, it all goes black. And I remember this like profound exhale that came out of me, and I ended up on the ground. And that's when I had this out-of-body experience. At the time, I had no idea what happened. I thought I was dead. I could see, if you ever play a game or if you ever seen a game where there's like a glitch where you can kind of see like a top-down view, I saw this top-down view of what was going on. I could see the the fighters across the street. I could see my body. I could see my point man still shooting. I could see my other teammates on the ground. Like, what the fuck's going on? I just saw
You
this.
had a fucking out of body experience in the middle of combat.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I've never heard of that.
Yeah. And what happened was I see this fucking light. I see all these things going on. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking dead. And I just get sucked back into this life. And then I snap and I'm in this fetal position. My body went into this fetal position. And I start to move. And I didn't know if I was convulsing or if it was from my friend kicking me. He's kicking me with his foot. He's in the prone position. Just, hey, wake up. They're like, dude, we thought you were dead. We didn't see any blood. I'm like, what happened? I'm like crying and laughing at the same time. I have no idea what's going on. I got shot right in the helmet. And I didn't know this. And I'm completely out of it. Well, my body was down, fell at the radio, near the radio. They're like, get on the radio and call in support. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what's going on? You know, I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. And they're like, get on the fucking radio and call for support. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I pick up this fucking handset and I give like the worst radio transmissions ever. Every other word was break. Warhammer break. This is break. Grim Reaper break. We need break. I'm fucking out of it. And I get it out. I muster it out. I would call him like, hey, here's our fucking location. This is what's going on. And I'm getting broken comm. And we're still under fucking fire, under attack. And so my team was like, we got to get out of here. So we pack up the radio and we work our way downstairs. And I find myself with a radio operator holding, basically being a shield for him so he can set up the antenna, get communication, and we can get fucking contact. Because we're like, dude, shit's about to get real.
My buddy, who's the medic that saved, he almost saved a guy. He saved him, and then he dumped him off, and they pushed IVs and blew out all the clotting that he had developed. I know it's a shitty story.
He said that you guys were telling them that you had never seen shit like this before.
Oh,
that was going down over there.
That was like when those guys. I assume from what I was told that it was what Somalia was like. I assume. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they got hit hard, like hard. At daybreak, you know. I mean, mortars, RPGs, PKMs. Yeah, I mean, it was big. And but yeah, I mean, that was again, it just that fucking Abrams shooting into the city.
Yeah.
Like the main gun.
That's crazy.
It was just insane.
So what were you guys just roaming the battlefield pretty much, just killing bad guys? Or was there a very specific target set that you were after? Because it seems counterintuitive to insert a team to roam.
We were trying to develop targets for ourselves, but you couldn't. Like you could not fly there.
Yeah.
You could not drive in, and you could not insert a helicopter.
Well, how the hell were you guys going to develop targets for yourself?
Well, that's what we were. I mean, we didn't know that until we started to go through the process. But that was the intent, was to develop targets. And then, spending the time there is like, it's nothing we could do. I sat in on the invasion briefings and all that. Yeah, I met General Mattis, who was a legend then, let alone later. And then we were there for the big gun trade-in, to where they traded in like crew serve weapons. I forget what they got, but they turned in. Basically, they DX'd their old non-working stuff, just hilarious shit, you know. But yeah, so I mean, we just ended up doing a lot of stuff with the Marine Corps. Just, you know, I mean, we hit targets with the Marine Corps.
And we get tasks that we're like, hey, Delta is doing a mission down the road. We need to go provide sniper support for them. We're providing basically a cordon for them, outer support. And I tell my assistant team leader, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking done, bro. He's like, suck it the fuck up. I'm like, roger that. So we go on this like baton death march to link up, to set up this outer cordon. And I am walking left and right. I'm dragging my fucking gun. He's like, pick up your fucking rifle. I'm like, dude, I am fucking trying. I'm toast at this point. I'm hitting all the dopamine, the adrenaline's wearing off, and like, I just got shot in the helmet. Hell, I don't even know who I got shot in the helmet by this point, and I don't feel good. I'm getting to the point where I'm physically incapable of actually performing my job. We set up the railroad tracks, and they're like, all right, you're good. We're here. And the next thing you know, I passed out.
So I learned a lot about the Marine Corps, just working with them, that deployment.
What was your impression of them?
In short, Marines are solid dudes that get fucked. Like,
Are they good at what they do?
yes, but they're always doing it without the proper resources. It's almost like their command is like, we'll show you how shitty of conditions our Marines can operate in. Like, that's how I felt about it, you know?
Damn, that's a
Yeah,
fucking shame.
That's how I felt, you know? And I was just like I'll tell you right now, I walked out of the invasion briefing.
No
I
shit.
fucking got up and walked out. I was pissed. I was fucking pissed.
What were you pissed about? What specifically?
The plan. I listened to the plan, and I was just like, and dude,
I mean, what were you pissed about, though? Were you pissed that we were sending in 18-year-old kids into a fucking kill zone? Were you pissed that they didn't have the resources they need to accomplish the mission?
I was pissed at how stupid the plan was. I was pissed that in the plan was casualties.
Day one on the left seat, right seat, two of our guys from our platoon come back with grenade wounds.
On day one?
Day one. And essentially what happened, there was this like weekly tribal council essentially that happened at this district center. And the sniper recce guys from the 101st would set up Overwatch, relay stuff, and provide Overwatch. We had a few members of our sniper platoon go out there, and I was kind of butthurt. I wanted to go, but it was the senior guys, which at the time, I'm still new to this whole thing, but it makes sense. They're doing leaders reconnaissance. I just wanted to go out and do stuff. I'm here to work. Well, they come back eating grenades.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.